Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery. It's a beautiful Friday morning. Today is January 9th, 2026. We get together most weekday mornings at 8 o'clock Central, talking about strategies, tips, techniques, sharing success stories. This is our daily Zoom through 509 Pacific. Normally, we'll have our website in the back, but not today. We're going to be looking at some other documents. Today's a really interesting topic. We're going to talk about documented income. So before I get to that, just a few housekeeping issues. Our website, not shown, is 509pacific.org. Resources and information there. We have a text support line, 903-347-8042. People like to call that number, but it's a text line. It's not a answered live line. And then our YouTube channel has past trainings. As a 501c3, we've applied for, received a grant with three mandates: improving financial literacy. Today's going to hit right on that. Second is giving away shelf corps. Not really our discussion today, but we are going to talk about getting money, and that's going to tie to number one. So improving knowledge, having the shelf corp to get business funding, and then getting business funding by having a legally and ethically fundable business. Our topic today is a big one, and it's one of the most frequent barriers that we see when entrepreneurs, grant participants come into the system. They often either don't know or are not following proper income documentation requirements. So, if our goal, of course, is to be legal and compliant, but if our goal is to get funding, we need to play by the rules that banks and lenders give them what they want to see. So, what we know is that when it comes to business funding, there's a formula for funding. We'll step back a moment. So, there's the formula for funding. We've covered this. I think all of you know it. It's E plus the three C's, which means we need to have a fundable entity. If they don't have that, we provide that through the free shelf corp, which you can get on 509 Pacific, plus the three C's, which is credit, not our topic today, collateral, not our topic today, and capacity. It is our topic today. So we're going to talk about capacity. In other words, cash flow. So a lot of times clients will underappreciate the importance of not just being able to tell the lender something verbally, but to prove it up, to be able to give documentation that supports it so the lender can check the box and approve the loan. So we could divide capacity and cash flow into business versus personal. Now, I'm with you. Our goal is to build a fundable business. I'm with you there. But we can't ignore that some elements of finance will also care about personal credibility. So, and that's really where our focus is going to be today. But before we get to that, so how would a lender determine what the capacity of a business is to pay back a loan? So I'm going to ask you all to type into the Q&A. It's like a chat box of Zoom. On business side, what do lenders look for to verify capacity or cash flow? And again, the reason they would want to look at that is, can the borrower afford to pay back the loan? What do you think that they would look at? Is it just that they ask the lender verbally, hey, can you afford to pay this back? And the borrower says yes. Okay, so very good. Christopher mentions projections, and that's right. And that's one of the things that we provide. So income projections is one element that lenders can look at for business capacity because it shows once we receive the loan how we're going to use that and how it will help our business grow. So uh, good going, Christopher. All right, Joe says bank statements, and we'll go ahead and clarify business bank statements. That's right, because that kind of shows the truth, right? Those are the deposits going in. We commonly work with clients that maybe they have more of a cash-based business, or they're not really putting it in the bank, or they use Cash App or these fintech apps, so the money's not really making it into the business bank account. But if we wanted to have a really strong business in terms of capacity and cash flow, we would want to have good projections. We provide that for free, so that's fine. And then also we would want to be able to show what we have coming in now. Now, if we're a pre-revenue business, the business bank statements aren't going to show anything, I understand. So then it would be on the projections. And then Eduardo brings up a good point. The other element would be financials. And so that's like your P&L, your profit and loss, and your income statement. So we'll make that plural. So from a business side, which is frankly not our discussion today, the way that we would demonstrate to a lender that we can afford to pay for the loan that we're wanting to get would be through projections. Normally we're going to do 36-month projections, but we provide that. So here we are. We're talking shop, so that meets mandate number one. But with the Shelf Corp, it actually comes with projections. So we're actually delivering that, business bank statements, and financials. Now, some of you get concerned and about, well, what if the company isn't making money yet? It's an early stage business. Technically, it's pre-revenue. Don't use the word startup. Don't use it. So either a business is pre-revenue or post-revenue. Pre-revenue doesn't mean that the owner put some money in. We have some clients, they want to redirect money out of their paycheck and put it into their bank account. Well, that's fine. That's called an equity injection, which is good, but that's not talking about client revenue. So we can provide projections, business bank statements. We're going to need money coming in, and some of these folks don't have money coming in yet. So what we've come up with is the Opportunity Fund. The Opportunity Fund is designed to legally and ethically put bank deposits into the client's bank account. Now, often people say, well, how many deposits do I need? And how big? How much cumulative does it need to be? Well, there's no right or wrong answer, but in general, lenders want to see at least 5 to 7 deposits a month. So the first issue is not how big the deposits are, but how frequent. Lenders typically don't want to see that you just get one big lump sum every month, because what could they infer? Well, it's all coming from one place, and if something happened with that one place, then you have zero income. So 5 to 7 deposits a month minimum. Then the question is, well, how much needs to come in? Well, it depends upon how much we're wanting to borrow. So again, I know that we can use the projections for going forward, but if we want to go borrow $1 million and we're putting 1,000 a month into our bank account, that doesn't support it. Although, again, we could use the projections to say, yes, we're not bringing in much, but once we have the injection of capital from the loan, then we can do these things with the business, and then we'll be able to afford it, understand. But the Opportunity Fund is, I think, an underused strategy that I want to emphasize to you. And ultimately, our goal for today is to get down to talk about personal documentation income. But the Opportunity Fund can allow us to do both. It can get those bank deposits in. It's not designed to be get rich quick, nothing like that. There's no cost for your clients to participate in the Opportunity Fund. It's designed to put 5,000 a day in. So it's not a real big deal, but it's designed, and so we can, I guess, put a note here and scroll that down and say the Opportunity Fund is designed to deposit 5,000 a day, 25,000 a week, 100,000 per month. Now, sometimes when I say things, people misconstrue it. Am I saying that that's the minimum that we need to have to get funding? No, no. But it is a best practice, and that is what we offer to do through the Opportunity Fund, and you can access it on the website, 509 Pacific. There's no cost, no strings attached. But it's designed to start getting those deposits into the client's bank account on a frequent basis. So theoretically, its design is 5,000 a day. There's 5 days in a week, which is 25,000 a week, 4 weeks in the month, which is 100,000. And then that's going to give us right about 20 deposits a month. So that's the ideal scenario. Doesn't have to be ideal, but that's the scenario. So if we have good business bank statements, then all of a sudden the financials will look good because the financials are a reflection of what actually happened. So now let's get over to really our topic now that we're 11 minutes in today. I want to talk about personal capacity, personal cash flow. And this is a topic that could be relevant to what do we need to do to look as good on paper as possible to get funding? And then also, what are some things we should consider after we have received funding? So when it comes to personal capacity, personal cash flow, how do you think, question for you all to type into Q&A, how do you think that banks and lenders are going to assess the capacity on the personal side? So we talked about what happens, what they look at on the business side. What do you think is going to be right here as far as what they look at on the personal side? Who has an idea of what banks and lenders will look at on the personal side? And Ernest nailed it on the head. It often starts with paycheck stubs. So a lot of people aren't like you and I, and they don't know what you and I know. What do we know from a financial literacy perspective? We do not want to be self-employed. We do want to own a business, most likely, but we want to be a W-2 employee of our business. We don't want to be lazy. We don't want to be unsophisticated. We don't want to be illiterate. We want to be a W-2 employee of our company. So the rest of the world doesn't think we're self-employed because we've got a job, but the job is through a business that we own. So having paycheck stubs is really important because if we have paycheck stubs, we're able to verify with lenders if they want to see on the personal side that we have money coming in. Now, again, I know that primarily what you and I do together is helping get business loans, business funding. But if the business doesn't yet have income, if it's pre-revenue, as we just defined, there's a greater likelihood that they'll be interested in looking at the personal financial situation of the owner or owners. So let me flip the tab here. One of the things that we like to do is create paycheck stubs for all grant participants. Now, there'll be actual additional information that I redacted to maintain privacy. Normally, the employer's name is going to be in the top left, and then the employee's name, street address, city, state. So there's a block of information I took off here. But this is an example of a real paycheck stub that we developed. So let's go through and let's look at it from a lender's perspective. So we're recording this training today on January 9th. So we're early into the year. So we need to keep in mind paycheck stubs should show how much the employee made now plus how much they've made cumulatively. So we have to keep track of how much is we going to show on paper they get paid now, and then how much have they been paid so far through the year. So your first paycheck stub of the year, those numbers will be the same, but afterwards the cumulative amount will be much larger. So when we create paycheck stubs, we're going to show the pay date, and we usually like to set people up where they're paid every Friday. So Friday is today, so the pay date is today, and the net pay is $1,348.29. I'm going to break down where that comes from. So this is a good average setup when we're creating paycheck stubs for our grant participants. The paycheck stub is going to show when the period began, when the period ended. So, even though a new calendar year started, if we're running on a Friday to Friday basis, technically the pay period and we can provide this for anyone, that anyone that gets paid today using this model, the pay period was for the work between the 27th and the 2nd. Then there's a week delay, and then the paycheck comes out. And so here we are on the 9th, the date of this recording. So it's a 1 week pay period. We're paying 1 week in delay. This shows some other pay contributions. We won't worry about that so much. It shows where it's getting deposited in the net pay. Now, what typically matters most is the gross pay, not the net pay. So we're going to dig a little bit deeper and we can make this larger and scroll down so we can all see it, how we like to set up paycheck stubs. So typically, these individuals are not going to be hourly. They're going to be paid off of a salary basis, and it's fine for them to receive bonuses as well. So when we're creating paycheck stubs, we're going to normally pay people a flat rate of 1,500 a week, nothing crazy. But if you multiply that out times 52 weeks in the year, that puts you around 70, 80,000 base pay. Very reasonable. And then we like to pay out bonuses to bump up the numbers whenever possible. And so we're actually doing a twofold bonus. So for this current pay period, this employee received 4,500 for this week. Not a bad week, right? So if you aggregate or you extrapolated that, that's around 20,000 a month, a little bit less. So that's a good solid paycheck. So with that being said, then of course taxes need to be shown that it comes out of this paycheck and year to date. So again, when we're W-2, taxes are taken out, everything's compliant. Deductions. A lot of people ask about deductions. Well, this is true, and we can go back to the opportunity fund. So if you or a client's participating in the opportunity fund and we're bringing in $100,000 a month, 25,000 a week, 5,000 a day, as we talked about, then we're going to have a lot of money left over, and we got to decide what to do with this extra money. Well, we recommend that everyone set up a retirement account, just like we do on these sample paycheck stubs that we can create for folks. So we want to encourage people to save for retirement. So in addition to just getting paid and spending their money, so we recommend getting everyone set up on a 401k and a Roth 401k. So I suspect most of you are already doing this, right? There's 529, and I bet if I did a survey, 95% of you have a retirement account and you're contributing. We want to contribute a material amount, though, right? We want to really be well funded when we retire. So this is how we set up the typical compensation structure. So about $2,250 a week is going into retirement. So we're saving for the future. And then the employee would show that they're pocketing about 1,300 per week of net pay. Does anyone have questions? And I can bring back up my note screen. What we're talking about is how we document, how we help clients document capacity and cash flow. We've talked about from the business side, which is what we've spent most of our time talking about previously, is that we provide projections. We can use business bank statements and then financials like P&L income statements. So that's we've covered quite a bit before. The question often is, well, what if the client doesn't have any money coming in? Well, that's where we want to plug them into the opportunity fund because we can fix that. We can get money coming in right away, even though we're still working on the capital raise. So as the money's coming in, now we need to decide how do we use that money. And of course, these are adults. They can use the money the way they want. But we do recommend that they pay themselves. And this is a typical model of how we would recommend that they pay themselves, whereby what? They're paid a reasonable salary, bonuses are fine, we need to take taxes out, and we need to show that we're funding for retirement. Anyone have questions, comments, concerns on the bottom line is if you have any clients that doesn't have documented strong personal capacity, let's fix it. Any of your clients that are coming in that do not have strong personal capacity, let's fix it. If you have any clients, and I'm speaking to you all as affiliates, most of you are, if you have any clients that does not have strong business capacity or cash flow, let's fix it. That's going to make them stronger on paper. It's going to make them more fundable. So there's certain things we do on the business side. Today, I wanted to show you, since it's Friday, it's payday. Every Friday should be payday for you. I know it is for me, should be for all of your employees. How do we set up the paycheck stub? How do we set up their compensation? This is a very common setup that should work for any of them. They have plenty of money coming in, so it's not a concern of how are we going to fund the payroll? How are we going to fund the taxes? How are we going to fund the retirement? No one should have trouble with cash flow. If they're having trouble with cash flow, we need to fix it. And the quickest way to fix it is the Opportunity Fund. Anyone have questions, comments, concerns on our topic today? All right, John, welcome to the call, John. John's asking, he wants to really know what his action steps are, and that's a good point, John. So if you run into any clients that does not have good documentation of capacity, what we can do is get them into the Opportunity Fund. Crazy simple to do, John. Free, easy. Just send them to 509pacific.org. Now, down near the bottom of 509pacific.org is the link for the Opportunity Fund. We can get them plugged in, get the cash flow going, but we don't want to just stop with getting people the 5,000 a day, 25,000 a week, 100,000 a month. It doesn't just stop with getting them a lot of cash flow. We need to document properly so we can help them with all the financial reports, but I don't want to overlook the personal side, and I recommend this type of structure. So, kind of closing out, for those of you that are on today, how many of you are using this model for your current clients? So, take Corinthian, you've brought in a ton of clients. Corinthian, are you helping or at least instructing your clients to set up their payroll where they're a W-2 of their company? They have taxes withheld, they have retirement. Is that something that you're doing, Corinthian? Cameron, you're one of the big hitters. John Stockton, Lamy, just curious. Now, as an affiliate, it's not your burden to go implement all of this, but I do want to show you best practices. Because what's a lender going to see? When a lender gets this bank statement from an applicant, for example, of course, it'll have their company name and their name and address on it. Of course, it'll be more filled out, might even have their logo in the top right corner. But we're showing the bank that the client, the grant participant, is set up, organized, compliant, and we want everyone to be a W-2 employee. Everyone a W-2 employee of their own company. We don't want people to be 1099. And often I'll get people that say, well, I'm 1099, this won't work for me. Well, that's ridiculous. You take your 1099 income, you put it into your business, and then you put yourself on payroll. So now we have the right documentation. It's wrong thinking to think that if your money comes in as a 1099, that you're stuck being a 1099. We do not want any of the grant participants to be 1099. That's not ideal. What's ideal is for them to be W-2 of their own company, and we can help them set that up. All right, well, I've got to run. We cut it short on Fridays. Thank you so much. We'll see you back Monday morning. Let us know if you need anything. You have our website so you can access the resources. The tech support line is 903-347-8042. Past trainings on YouTube, and we'll see you all Monday morning. Thanks. Bye-bye.